You might be surprised by the subtle clues that can betray a cheater. In this video, I will discuss how you can learn to spot the hidden patterns in their stories and actions before it's too late. I have worked a lot of infidelity and cheating spouse cases over the past 2 decades, and I have observed a lot of what I would call warning signs in relationships that could help identify deception within that relationship. Now, wait a second. These are not just those telltale signs like working late hours, being overprotective of their phones, or having frequent out-of-town business meetings. The warning signs we will cover in this video are more subtle things, signs that could mean they are lying or being deceitful as they try to hide their acts of infidelity. The first big thing to watch out for are sudden changes in communication patterns. I am talking about things like less texting, fewer phone calls, as well as a decrease in social media interaction. I know a lot of people think, well, if they are cheating, they will be texting even more. They will be getting phone calls on a frequent basis, and they will be posting more on Facebook and other social media sites as they communicate secretly with their secret partner. But in reality, a lot of times, the exact opposite happens. And this could happen for several reasons. So let's take a look at what might make them communicate less frequently. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. First off, the cheater doesn't want to look like they're cheating. They may subconsciously feel that if they're always on social media, if they're always messaging someone, their spouse or partner may get suspicious. They may also be afraid that they may slip up and post the wrong thing or say the wrong thing or do something else related to their secret life. These fears can really build up inside and make them do things they wouldn't normally do, or should I say, not do things they normally would do. Now, this next warning sign is one that you would think is very obvious, but it is really hard to see if you aren't looking at the right cues the cheater is displaying. You need to keep an eye out for the subtle signs of increased secrecy the cheating spouse or partner displays. This is not just keeping their phone with them all the time. This is not just locking down their social media page, and this is not just getting texts or calls in the middle of the night. Obviously, all of those things are warning signs as well. But one subtle sign of secrecy that is often overlooked is avoiding normal topics of conversation. For instance, they used to always talk about work, how their days went, what drama was unfolding in the office, and then those discussions just stop. It could be a subtle warning sign. It doesn't mean for sure they are cheating. There could be other reasons this is happening. Perhaps there is no drama going on at work. Maybe their days are just humdrum and nothing really to talk about happens, but it is something to watch out for. This next sign of increased secrecy is even more telling though. If they are suddenly avoiding eye contact when they talk to you, this could be a huge sign that something else is going on. This is especially true if they are trying to recount or remember recent events they are talking about. If they are struggling trying to keep the story straight, their eyes may be key to uncovering this secret. Now, oftentimes people will look up to the right or up to the left or down for various other reasons. Many times, these eye movements are just related to how they recall things, how they are structuring their thoughts. But if they tend to always avoid eye contact altogether, well, this is not normal in a normal relationship. And there are a lot of other things that do not happen in a normal relationship that cheaters do. Besides avoiding eye contact, the cheating spouse may show other signs of nervousness like fidgeting or even sweating during a normal conversation. If you're just talking about the kids' after-school activities and how much fun they're having, and your spouse starts twirling their hair, tapping their feet, drumming their fingers on the table, or shifting around in their seats a lot, well, this nervousness could be due to them trying to hide something from you. Yes, I know there could be a lot of other reasons they're nervous too. It could be because they are ill or tired and they just want to rest and not talk, but it is something to take note of for sure. Another thing to take note of is if they suddenly start getting defensive about things, especially if you didn't really ask a direct question. Now, obviously, if they get defensive because you ask something like, why couldn't you come to little Johnny's ball game this evening? That could be a big sign in and of itself. If they had a legitimate reason, like the boss told them they had to finish a job before they could leave, well, that is easy to explain and shouldn't be cause to be defensive about the question. But the bigger warning sign is when they get defensive over a statement rather than a question. For instance, if you say something like, yeah, little Johnny had a great time at his ball game. He hit a home run today. Too bad you had to work late. You would have loved seeing that. Then they get all defensive about why they missed the game rather than remorseful or sad because they had to miss the game. Well, that should raise some red flags too. A really big thing, a subtle clue, or a warning sign to watch out for is when there is a noticeable shift in their personality or they become emotionally distant. If they used to love doing certain things with you, but now they prefer to do something completely different, maybe even things you are not fond of doing at all, this could be a sign they are cheating. When a person is cheating on their spouse or partner, they are oftentimes exposed to new things and pick up new interests and habits. Those new interests and new habits often will be noticeable if you are paying close attention. And those new interests and habits often lead to the person being more emotionally distant from their spouse. Now there is a separation of interests rather than a bonding because of like interests. This often can lead to insecurity for the cheater. They know they are cheating. They know it is wrong, and that guilt leads them to feeling very insecure in themselves. They have to fight internally with themselves with all those mixed up thoughts and feelings, and then they question themselves. They question their marriage. They question their new partner they're cheating with. And oftentimes, they themselves start to question if their spouse is being faithful or not. Yep, we have seen this a lot. The cheating spouse starts accusing or becoming suspicious of their spouse of cheating. This is often an easy way for them to validate or qualify what they are doing. If he is cheating on me, well, it's okay if I cheat on him. And these suspicions, these feelings of insecurity, these new habits and interests will usually lead to complete communication breakdowns. They will just shut you off, stop communicating, stop showing any signs, all in an effort to not show any signs. But this is often the greatest warning sign they can display. They give you the old silent treatment. If they do that, they can avoid the confrontation and thus continue on with their other life as if no one is the wiser.